The moment one hears about or sees xenomorphs, the first thing that comes to mind is finding ways of exterminating these biomechanical killing machines. While predators use their uber-cool, primitive-looking technology, humans use Ellen Ripley, and sometimes Colonial Marines to get the job done. But what about a suit that can take care of all of this? I mean, I'm sure Iron Man would make Xeno slaughter look like a cakewalk, right? Well, sci-fi has always played with the concept of exosuits, and the Alien franchise is no different. In the comic titled Aliens Genocide, we got to see a state-of-the-art anti-Xeno exosuit, wearing which the Colonial Marines and a civilian stood their ground against thousands and thousands of xenomorphs. In this video, we'll explore these awesome suits, but before that, let's quickly go through the comic for context so that you understand things better. Let's begin, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Aliens Genocide, a prelude. After a hard-fought battle to rid Earth of the Xenomorph menace, humanity was on the path to recovery. To mark this newfound hope, the Goodwill Games took place in Baghdad, a global sporting event that united athletes from all corners of the world. Amidst the competition, some athletes turned to a legal performance-enhancing drug known as Xenozip, but they grossly underestimated its strength. The Xenozip was distilled from the royal jelly secreted by xenomorph queens, and its insatiable demand was driving Daniel Grant, the CEO of Neopharm, to desperate measures. With his selfish ambitions in mind, Grant manipulated the Colonial Marines by touting the drug's military potential. Thus, an audacious expedition was planned. They wanted to go to the Xenomorph homeworld to get their fill of the super precious royal jelly. Major Alex Lee, haunted by the memory of her lover's death under her command, reluctantly led the mission. Her team included Grant Corporation scientists, including Grant himself. On board the USS Razzia, the crew emerged from hypersleep, preparing for the perilous journey ahead. Grant's brash demeanor didn't win him any popularity points with the Marines, except for Corporal Henriksen, who found an unexpected friendship with him. Major Lee, too, discovered a more complex side to Grant as she looked past his abrasive exterior. Unbeknownst to her, Grant's scientists had an extremely dangerous and sinister agenda. They aimed to incubate a xenomorph chest burster, using royal jelly from the xenomorph home planet, potentially granting Grant Corporation an endless supply. Tensions soared as the Marines realized the gravity and stupidity of this plan. But thankfully, the chest burster was soon found dead. But by then, it was time for the butt-kicking men and women to land, which was when Grant showed the Marines their new best friend, the Z-110 Acid-Neutralizing Combat Wardrobe. Introducing the Z-110 Acid Neutralizing Combat Wardrobe, a brainchild of the Grant Corporation. The suit was initially developed to safeguard their invaluable royal jelly resources. Although initially kept and exclusively used by their royal jelly farming personnel, the design was given to the US Colonial Marine Corps at a later point. It was a specialized suit, crafted to counter the corrosive properties of xenomorph blood. This unique armor, complete with a distinctive rib design, offered comprehensive defense because it enveloped a Marine from head to toe. What sets it apart is the ingenious slime coating that acts swiftly to neutralize the xenomorph acid upon contact. In the relentless quest to develop armor capable of withstanding the potent acidity of xenomorph blood, conventional approaches proved unwieldy and impractical due to excessive weight. As a pragmatic alternative, an innovative, extirpative solution had to be born. When xenomorph blood comes in contact with the Z-110 wardrobe, thanks to a specialized gelatinous lining, it neutralizes the acidic substance, rendering it as harmless as water with a perfectly balanced pH level. Furthermore, this remarkable armor also serves as a fully integrated life support system, capable of sustaining a pressurized environment for up to 6 hours. The suit relies on a set of batteries fixed to the back, which not only power the life support functions, but also facilitate the seamless interchange of armor plates. While not classified as a traditionally powered exoskeleton, the Z-110 uses a unique mechanism where the armor adjusts itself in response to the wearer's movements. This includes a sophisticated tracking system for the helmet, which synchronizes with the wearer's line of sight. It's worth noting that the viewer on the Z-110 is quite compact, making it the suit's most vulnerable component. Regrettably, the Grant Core Nutrigel, the suit's protective substance, cannot be made transparent. As a result, the small viewer is susceptible to acid damage, with a 20% chance of being hit when targeted. Should it be punctured, the suit's pressurization is compromised. One of the standout features of the Z-110 is its ability to regenerate the gel entirely after a battle, ensuring an essentially limitless supply. Additionally, Grant Corporation introduced Nutrigel, also known as Nutrigel, during the war. This game-changing substance was made available as a modification compatible with various armor types. It can be applied to any surface armor that cannot be fully covered. Each Nutrigel packet can adapt to an entire suit, but it possesses a threshold for acid damage before being completely neutralized. Any exposed area, such as the helmet, bears a roughly 50% chance of being hit by an unprotected spot. Was the combat wardrobe really a game changer? In fact, the question of whether the combat wardrobe was a true game changer is what led to the inception of this video. In the comics, we witness Xenomorphs managing to overpower some of the Marines while they were still encased in these formidable suits. But we have to consider the context, which is that these Marines faced an entire planet teeming with both the original Xenomorphs and a new variant called the Red Xenomorphs. Oh, we recently covered the Red Xenomorphs and their queen in one of our videos. You may want to check that out. Anyway, when you're confronted by millions of these nightmarish creatures all at once, the odds of survival become incredibly slim, regardless of how robust your suits are. However, it's crucial to note that not all of the Marines succumb to the relentless swarm of hundreds of thousands of Xenomorphs. This, in itself, serves as evidence of the suit's nearly omnipotent capabilities, which makes it evident that, as far as movies are concerned, these suits might be deemed overpowered and superfluous. In most cases, the protagonists in alien films contend with a single hive of Xenomorphs, or face an outbreak within a research facility dedicated to studying these creatures. They fought just one of these biomechanical monsters in the first movie, and a relatively small hive in James Cameron's sequel. But here, the Colonial Marines were heavily armed, and the weapons work like charms against the lone Xenos. If these combat wardrobes were introduced into the equation in 3 out of 5 alien movies featuring Xenomorphs, the outcome might have been drastically different. It raises the intriguing question of whether the films would risk becoming rather dull with such overpowered suits in play. What about some other exosuits? While there are several such suits, including the Power Loader, I will only talk about 2 of the best and most powerful ones. 1. Exosuit from Aliens vs. Predator 2. In Aliens vs. Predator 2, the exosuit, affectionately nicknamed Alice by Marines, was equipped with a laser and flamethrower in one weapon arm, while the other boasted twin rotary guns and a rocket launcher. What set Alice apart was its remarkable speed and agility, allowing it to sprint rapidly and leap to great heights, albeit at the cost of energy, which recharge when stationary. In Aliens vs. Predator Extinction, the default exosuit comes armed with twin M103 Torrent cannons, one attached to each arm. These rotary cannons start with a moderate firing rate and limited arc, but progressively increase in speed and coverage, saturating a wide area with projectiles. The exosuit's upgrades replaces these cannons with an electronically triggered projectile array, known as the Bullet Box. This grid of railguns fires multiple rounds simultaneously at a staggering rate of nearly 1,000 rounds per second, making it devastatingly effective against various threats. The exosuit provides comprehensive protection for its operator. It features multi-layered armor capable of deflecting lighter projectiles, an integrated anti-NBC system safeguarding against Xenomorph-related hazards, including acids, spores, and facehuggers, and resistance to radiation and fire. 2. Berserker. The Berserker, a formidable combat cyborg, was originally conceived by the United States Colonial Marine Corps to spearhead xenomorph clearing operations. These combat units were an amalgamation of heavily armed and armored exosuits, housing a human operator tightly connected to the suit's control systems through a neurological interface. During missions, operators were administered stimulant drugs, which transformed them into hyper-aggressive forces, although at the cost of physical and mental deterioration. The early Berserker models, initially developed by the USCM, were referred to as Mobile Offensive Exo Warriors. Later iterations, constructed by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation and deployed as part of company-operated hunter-killer MAX teams, were known as Mobile Assault Exo Warriors, following the recovery of the Sulaco flight recorder data at Fury 161, which documented Ellen Ripley's battle against the Xenomorph Queen. There was a growing demand for a weaponized power loader to combat the Xenomorph threat. Early attempts at developing exosuits with human operators proved to be unwieldy and inefficient for combat. Hyperdyne Systems executive Spencer Linden was enlisted to refine the concept, leading to the removal of the human operator from the equation and the integration of a biological component within the machine. These awesome units were heavily armed and capable of single-handedly decimating entire Xenomorph swarms. They also had acid-resistant armor, safeguarding them against the corrosive properties of Xenomorph blood. And of course, they came equipped with an array of high-end and mean weaponry, including pulse rifles, grenade launchers, and flamethrowers, all seamlessly integrated into the suit's arms. While the Mach 16 unit weighed 2 tons, the later MAX iterations tipped the scales at over 10 metric tons. 5. Do we really need these suits in movies? Xenomorphs have undoubtedly proven to be formidable adversaries, but they are far from invincible. In the initial Alien film, the unfortunate crew members of the Nostromo met their demise primarily because they lacked the means to defend themselves. Ripley, the sole survivor, managed to secure a flamethrower towards the end, but her ultimate victory came from jettisoning the creature into the void of space. In the sequel, Aliens, a team of Colonial Marines confronted the Xenomorphs with some serious firepower, and the weapons proved to be remarkably effective. While the Xenomorphs had the numerical advantage, in one-on-one encounters, they were decidedly outmatched. The James Cameron movie showed that, with sufficient firepower and protective gear, Xenomorphs could be dispatched without excessive difficulty. The original Alien film reaffirmed this notion by showing a Xenomorph being defeated without the need for weapons at all. I believe the introduction of the ultimate anti-Xenomorph suits in the movies would likely undermine the tension and excitement that the franchise is known for, unless a future Alien installment plans to set the stage on an entire Xenomorph-infested planet, be it Earth, Xenomorph Prime, or an entirely new planet, pitting a team of Colonial Marines against an overwhelming horde of these creatures. The incorporation of these supremely potent suits into live action would risk diluting the high-stakes drama that has defined the series, but that's just my opinion. I would really like to know what your take is on the subject. You know where to voice your opinion. Oh, and if you have any suggestions or requests, feel free to let us know. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.